to day 23 of Rise and Shine, creating 2020 vision. My name is Kim O'Neill, and today I have with me Renee Duron. Welcome, Renee.
Hello.
Hello. We are on day 3 of our emotions conversations, all about how your vision, your mindset, your emotions, and taking action support you in moving forward. And I'm really excited. Renee and I have known each other for a very long time now. So I'm happy to have you here, Renee. It's awesome.
It's almost like 20 years, I believe.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I've got a little surprise for you as we go throughout the show. So with that said, I want to give a very brief intro to who my awesome friend here is. Renee Duron is an entertainment stage manager for live entertainment and a co-executive producer of Rekeki Productions' WtFun podcast. And you can connect with her on Instagram. You can connect with Renee on Instagram at rekeki.productions. And Rekeki is R-E-K-E.
R-E-K-E-K-I.
Thank you. Okay. So, Renee, how you been?
I've been great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good.
It's Monday. It's a good day.
It's Monday. It's a great day. So, okay, Renee, will you tell everyone, before we get into our emotions conversation, tell everyone just a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
I'm Renee, and I'm a production stage manager. I work at the Disneyland Resort. I'm currently on furlough, but that's okay. That has allowed me to dabble into other things. And so one of the things is co-producing WtFun, or WtFun podcast. And I'm a podcast host. Who would have thought that would have happened? And also producing content for the podcast and other things that we're trying to get online. So it's been a wonderful time. I'm single. I'm not a mother. I don't have children.
I thought maybe you're looking for someone right now. I'm single.
No, I'm good.
Long walks.
I'm just putting that out there because, that's part of people's lives, being a mother or a wife or whatever it may be. None of those.
Well, I'm not surprised that you became a podcast host because you are very fun and entertaining and intelligent. So I think it's an excellent fit for who I know you to be. And and it was fun to learn that you have a podcast. And so let's show everyone really quick. This is Renee's podcast logo. And I'm pretty sure I know which one you are on this image. Which one are you, though? Tell everyone.
I'm the one on the top corner with the curly hair or the wavy hair. Yes. So these are two of my co-hosts. It's Kimmy would be my left, and Kisa below me. We were all co-workers. We all worked together, but then we found that we had a lot of things in common, had a vision of what we wanted to create, and here we are. So
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, let's get into our emotions conversation. So when you think about emotions in general, what comes up for you when you think about how emotions help a person in moving forward, or anything else that shows up for you in this moment?
I believe emotions are a huge part of how you deal with everyday life. There are moments where you might have the best of intentions to feel great, to wake up in the morning and say, this is going to be a fantastic day. And then things go south, right? And your emotions are at different levels. And so that's going to affect your day. Or maybe, I don't know, you think this is going to be a horrible day. And then somehow it all turns around because there's joy, or you feel happiness. And so I feel that emotions do affect your day to day. I know that at work, it was always one of those things that you would pick up when people walked into a room. They would have a certain energy, and it always had to do with where they were with their emotions. Driving in, did they get frustrated? Are they upset? Or driving in, did they relax? Because they were listening to good music, and so it put them in a better mood, and that would affect the rest of the day. And you could tell those things. I know personally for me, it does as well. Like my emotions, I have learned to And it's really rough because I kind of go to extremes. Sometimes I feel very happy and great. And then other times I'm just like, the world is ending and it's, and I'm just like really, really bad. But I've learned that just trying to take it day by day and being as present as possible is what's going to help me get through it. And sometimes it's just going through that emotion to get you to the other place. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to cry. Last week, for example, I had a really rough week. We let go of a lot of people at work, and it's family that I'm missing that I haven't seen in over 7 months. And so there were moments where I just allowed myself to feel what I had to feel, and then move on to the next, thing, to the next emotion, or just find closure, box it up, let that go. And if it came back to me, great. I would embrace it one more time and let it go, and then slowly get to a better place.
That's wonderful, Renee. And let's give just a quick hello to our live viewers with us. We've got Helene and Sherry and John are here with us. And hello to anyone else who's also with us live or on the replay. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Renee, I love where you've already started to take this conversation. Thank you so much for opening up to, our emotions don't stay the same, right? We all know this. And you said something earlier about just allowing yourself to feel your emotions. And I'd love to just get your thoughts on, because you've started this podcast, but prior to that, life looked different for you working at the Disneyland Resort. And so will you share with us just some of the emotions that happened for you as you've been moving through that transition? And, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Gotcha. I gotcha. So prior to us going into the podcast, the world had shut down. We were going into quarantine. Things that we thought never would happen. Disneyland closing was a huge thing, as well as just life. You were fighting in grocery lines, trying to get toilet paper and just like things to survive, and you didn't know why. It was just kind of like, mayhem, right?
Right.
And I was fine. It was just okay, this is new. I don't understand what's happening. Let's just go with the flow. And then I had my moment. And I think that everyone that I worked with had that moment, and everyone that I lived with had that moment of, what are we doing? What's happening right now in life? And that was the breaking point for me. It was this anxiety that kind of hit, and I started to worry about my future and what's going to happen. Is this the end of the world? Like, just, all those questions and all those emotions that all of us felt. And then that alone made me feel better, because I knew I wasn't alone, right? I knew that there were other people, a collective, feeling the same way. And that helped me get through it. And that's when I remembered that I had this conversation with my two friends, Kisa and Kimmy, and we were supposed to get together on March 15th. That was the day the world shut down. But we were supposed to get together that day and talk about all these things, ideas that we had been playing with about producing stuff and doing our own thing, but we didn't know what it was at the time. But this quarantine and what we were going through, we needed something to get us out of it, to express a different feeling, a different, whatever it was that we were going through. And so I called them up and I said, hey, I know we can't meet personally, but should we still get together and like maybe do a Zoom call or something like that and just talk? And so we did that. And that's where we came up with the podcast, and we wanted to make it fun because we knew we were not feeling that at the time.
Okay.
Right. And a lot of our counterparts weren't feeling that, friends, family. And so what was a way of like celebrating the thing we love, which is entertainment, and the people we love, which are the people that work in the industry, and still have fun. And so that became the operative. That became the main focus of making it fun. Every time we got together, we laughed. We usually cried because we were laughing so hard. And so it was like, well, why can't we bring that to other people? Why can't we just try it? Let's just see what happens. And so within that experience, it just gave us something to do, but it also gave us a different outlook on things, because we started to celebrate the one industry that has been shut down and has not been able to pick up momentum as easily as other industries. And so, it's just good to celebrate that a little bit.
What I hear is that you guys took conscious, deliberate action that allowed you to use that emotion of the furlough and put it into some good use towards the podcast and whatever else is evolving through that. Whereas when we don't take that conscious action, make those conscious decisions, then it's more of a distraction. We could take action and kind of go in different directions, but not actually be dealing with the emotion that showed up as well. So that's what I'm hearing is you did take that, you had that awareness, and then you allowed it to fuel you in a new direction. And that's awesome. Tell us a little bit more about, as you've been doing the podcast and the podcast episodes, and I've seen a few, and you guys do have fun, and it's fun to watch the little clips that you guys have and everything. What's it been? How has that helped you? Like, now that you've already created it and are generating it, how has that also helped you in moving forward?
Oh, it's given me a sense of purpose. And I think that's important when you've lost, as a stage manager, you're usually in control of a lot of things, right? And all of a sudden that's been taken away. So I don't have that control over a lot of things, right?
Yeah, right.
I have to live with my family like 24 hours a day. No control whatsoever. So, going from that, feeling like you didn't have purpose in life because your one purpose has been taken away. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I don't have a family of my own. I don't have a husband. I don't have children to distract me. And so my work was everything. The people that I worked with were my family, and to have that, taken away. And this kind of helped me reconnect somehow.
Nice.
And keep that tie with those people, as well as just give me a sense of purpose. And I think that was a collective for all three of us. We had something, and it wasn't just something to do, but it was something that we were passionate about, that we cared for, and it helped us connect with others. And so all of those things, it's just, but above all, I think it was just purpose and connection, for sure. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, no, you're doing a fantastic job answering my questions. I love it. So let's see here. I think let's look at Helene's comment. She's saying, Renee Duron, you just did today so she's saying you made her smile today. And thank you, Renee. I appreciate you. Sincerely, Helene. So
thanks, Helene. I made you smile.
That's awesome. Well, okay. So I asked Renee, what's an empowering quote you can share with us? And she shared 2 quotes. So the first quote, Renee, that you shared was, why would I think about taking a shot I haven't taken yet? And that's a Michael Jordan quote. And the second quote was, when fear knocks, let faith open the door. And that one's anonymous. So Renee, do you want to say anything about either of those?
Yes. I think it's about being present. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, especially this year. We've all been forced to be present. We don't know the tomorrow, and we can linger on the past, but it doesn't really apply to today. Yeah. So it's like we're forced to look at today. And I was watching that documentary with Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, and he said that, and I was like, bing! And it's so true, because, can you repeat the quote just one more time for me?
Yes. Michael Jordan was, why would I think about taking a shot I haven't taken yet?
Exactly. See, it's right there. Why would you even have to worry about the next step if you haven't taken it, right? So it's kind of like you just have to keep moving forward. And I could worry about what's going to happen tomorrow and focus on that. But if I focus on that, then I can't feel today, right? And it might
Yes.
not prepare me for tomorrow. So it's just better to live your moment, live right now, be present as possible, because that's what's going to help you get to the next step, you know? Because you don't know if you're going to take that shot, right? You don't know if you take the shot, you don't know if it's going to land, if it's going to go in the hoop or not. And so our why worry about that? Just be present, be in this moment as much as possible. So, and I think that the other quote is the same thing. It's the same idea.
When fear knocks, let faith open the door.
Just have faith. Have faith and see what happens. I know that that's one of the things that has helped me in my life. Like every time that I, heard that knock on the door or saw a door that I wanted to knock and it opened, it usually led me to something bigger and greater in my life. And if I would have walked away or denied that or pretended I didn't listen to it, I might have missed out on something. So it's kind of, you just have to take it day by day and the opportunities will come.
I love that you brought being present and having faith into the emotions conversation. And I want to ask you, what supports you in having faith? Like, has it always been easy for you? What helps you to go, oh, that's right, have faith. I can relax into that.
It hasn't always been easy. I think that it's every day you have to put that effort in. You do have to, sink into that. For me, I think my family has been a big part of that. My grandmother was huge in faith. She would always say, just have faith. It's going to be okay. And that's just the way I've always operated somehow. Just believing that tomorrow's going to be okay, right? It's going to be fine. But right now, I just want to cry or I just want to be happy or whatever it is, that emotion of that day. But it does fluctuate. And I've had, years of like depression, of times of sadness that I couldn't get out no matter how happy my life was on the exterior. On the interior, I wasn't feeling that good. But, those have been exceptions. But one of the things that I wanted to do this year, and I know that something that you've discussed here, is about intentions and setting those intentions. For the first time for first time ever, I had to, put a vision board together.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know what to do because I couldn't commit to anything, right? I have too many ideas. I want to do too many things. And then I don't want to be disappointed because my expectations go high. And so I was like, I can't do this, but I'm going to try. I'm going to see. And then I started finding keywords through the magazines as we were putting this together. And it became more about what I wanted to feel, who I wanted to be, versus what I wanted to do or accomplish. It wasn't about the house. It wasn't about the car. It wasn't about, traveling or anything like that. It was more about what are the things that are going to give me confidence, that are going to help me feel stronger, but also open me up for whatever possibilities are coming down the road. And so a lot of the words, and I have it over there, are like confident, why I love, progress, and things that I felt were important for me, like equal pay. I could get political and, those things to it. But it was just things that I wanted to keep in mind as I went through the year. And thank God I did that, because this year is nothing like we expected. And so it's given me that, what's that word?
Focus?
Yeah, that purpose, but it's also anchored me.
Okay.
And helped me kind of get through those emotions and get through all of that work that we've had to do over the last 7 months.
That's wonderful. I want to go back to the faith. What I hear is you have practicing faith, but then also having that loving reassurance from a supportive family member. I mean, that makes a huge difference. I know that. Yes. And if we don't have that, then it's all about make sure that we are cultivating that mindset for sure. So wonderful.
It's definitely a practice.
And your vision board, are you already starting to see like things manifest or seeing? Yeah. Are you really?
Yes.
That's exciting. Do you want to share?
In the center, and I'm going to give you an example. In the center, there was like one picture of Lin-Manuel Miranda in Hamilton. and it's just in the center. And then Hamilton just exploded, right? Like it was like, oh wow,
right?
And it's just everywhere. And my goddaughter is just so enamored with Hamilton the musical, and so it's become a big part of our life, you know. And those songs keep playing in my head, and it's kind of become that motivational CD or track that you play in your head so that you can continue moving forward. So yeah, it's crazy things, just like little things. But I think the main thing has been my attitude, my ability to just keep moving forward and kind of surviving this whole thing that's going on around us.
And I would even say you're doing more than surviving. You are thriving because you made these conscious decisions to feel your feelings and then decide to move towards something new, set the vision board, be practicing your faith and all of that. I mean, it all comes together to serve that greater purpose. I love how you brought it all together for us. I want to acknowledge John. John is saying, what I do when things like this happen is assess the situation and determine what is available to do, and then take the path of least resistance. John, I agree also, because that's you being in the flow of all of it. So thank you for sharing that. That was awesome. So, okay, I asked Renee, what is your 2020 vision? And Renee said, it's more of a mindset or mantra, if you will, creating progress every day on my journey while remaining present enough to listen. I tend to get bogged down by the to-dos and the what-ifs that I lose track of what I actually should be doing or focusing on. Instead, I become anxious or feel worthless because I haven't done the things. So I am working through it little by little in hopes to make progress. You're making more than progress, Renee. I think you're creating an awesome foundation for what's coming beyond all of this. Did you want to elaborate on that vision? I mean, you already started sharing some of that with us.
Yeah, it's good to hear it. Yeah. Coming from you. But yes, I think that's one of those things that, again, that anxiety, the moments that you have, that you get bogged down by those feelings. And it's just working through that. And again, giving yourself grace. That's something else that's very important. Aside from just support and having a positive attitude, or, keeping the practice, it's also practicing grace for yourself, grace for others, because then that it just helps you through. And I think that's, again, as a stage manager, it's my life, it's control, it's to-do lists, it's accomplishing things, it's ticking things off. And when I'm not doing that, when there's not any of that to go around, I lose sense of purpose, right? So then those are the moments where you have to find, well, what is your purpose, and what other things can you contribute? Whether if it's just, I don't know, making your nephew smile, or cracking a joke and playing Hamilton the musical with your goddaughter, things like that are going to bring them joy, but also you joy. Mm-hmm. There's a purpose. Sometimes we have to get beyond the list. But we have to also give ourselves grace and allow ourselves to feel those moments, and to forgive ourselves, and to say, okay, so I didn't get to that task list, or I don't have a task list. It doesn't mean that I don't have purpose, or there's no point in my life. You know what I mean? You still have to allow yourself to move forward. And I believe this year has helped me go through that much better.
You sound like you're going through it very well. So I'm so glad you're here today, Renee. I really am. So, okay, well, I have a fun picture that I'd like to share. Okay, we just have to do this because it's so funny. Renee and I were connecting a few months ago, and she's like, Kim, guess what? I started a podcast. And I was like, that's awesome. And then I said, I do too, right? And she was like, what? You have a podcast? And I was like, oh my gosh, like, how long have we been out of touch here? What's going on? Okay, so let me show you how long we've known each other. And Renee, can you see the picture? Okay, so I'll share with everyone. So this picture is a play that Renee and I were in college, and I was looking for one that actually I have one of just you and I, but I couldn't find it. So in the very middle of this picture, you can't see my mouse. In the very middle of the picture, there's a girl wearing a peach-colored dress, and that is Renee. And then I'm over on the left side in a very big white ball gown type dress and a white wig.
Oh my God.
Renee, what comes up for you when you look at this picture?
Those curls.
Yeah, I know.
It was like this weird short hair curled wig, and then I had these long curls coming down. Oh my God, that was so much fun.
It was tons of fun. It was tons of fun. Yeah. And
again, those are like, it's knocking those doors, right? Like, and when someone comes knocking, it's giving yourself that opportunity to take advantage of that. I remember I wanted to do theater, but I always was afraid of it because it was not considered a thing that you do,
okay.
right? Yeah. And then as I got older, and I was like, no, I'm just going to take that chance. And that was one of the first, I believe that was my first production that I did. I've done like one act before that, but that was the first one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Was it School for Wives or something like that?
Say it again.
Was it School for Wives?
That was it. School for Wives. Yes. And I was trying to remember, I think it was, no, I'm remembering character names, not the author's name. My bad. I did not fully prepare for that part. So yeah, it was an interesting play. And Renee, that is fascinating. So this was your first full production, and she's now a stage manager at Disneyland. And I know things are shifting there, but you did that for like 13 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
13 years.
That's amazing. So talk about vision. Talk about making a decision to move forward and keep moving towards your dreams, regardless of, oh, I'm not supposed to make a career out of this.
And what feels right. You also have to do what feels right. I think that sometimes we get focused and we think, oh, this is what I have to do, or this is what I want to do. And then you just focus on that one thing, and then you forget, you miss out on other opportunities. And then when you get there, you're like, I don't even like doing this. You realize that that's not a thing for you. Right. So it's what feels right is also important, and following that and listening to yourself. And I think that's the hardest thing because there's so much noise, but it's really about listening to what you truly want to do, because that's what's going to bring you the most joy.
Okay. So Renee, we've got a few minutes left. I'm actually going to pull a couple of cards. I'm going to pull a self-care card for those who are with us today. And Renee, I'd love if you would help in determining which card we select. I'm just doing a light shuffling right now. And okay, so in a moment, I'm going to shuffle a little more, and will you go ahead and just say stop, and whenever it feels right for you. And the card on top is the one that will be our card for the day. How's that sound? Okay. So what card wants to come out for everyone who views today's conversation?
Tarot reading.
I love it. There's cards flipping left and right here, by the way. I do my best to not look at them. Renee, are you going to say stop at some point?
Stop. I'm just enjoying it. I didn't know what's going to happen.
We're all waiting. Okay, so the card on top, there were a couple other cards that I kind of pulled to the side because I could tell they were sticking out. So the card though that was on top just now was self-love.
Ooh. And
the back of it says, care for your body. Self-love and self-acceptance are the ultimate acts of self-care. Renee, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah. All of that.
All that.
I think that's hard. Self-love is hard. But I think one of the ways you get there is by practicing that grace. I really do. Because it's hard. Self-love is very hard. Sometimes hard. It depends on how egocentric you are, but you know what I mean? Like it's not even about that. It's, because even the most egocentric person might not really love themselves. Yeah. So I think that's again, that practice of grace, giving yourself grace and being okay with who you are and accepting of that. And then that alone helps you love yourself. And the way that you love others, like you have to remind yourself, the way that you love others, you need to love yourself.
Yes. Right there. So these other cards that I just pulled to the side because I could tell they were sticking out as I was shuffling are pretty awesome. So the very first one is awareness.
Oh, yes.
And Renee, this is like what stands out. This is one of the many things that stands out to me in everything you've shared. So that's very fitting for today. Then we also have independence. And I just want to acknowledge that she's wearing butterfly wings. So all about that transformation. And then the third one is rest. So for those who are with us live on the replay, let us know if any of these cards resonate with you. And yeah. Renee, I thank you so much for being here today. We are just about done. Before I ask you my very final question, before I ask you the very final question, will you remind everyone where they can go to connect with you beyond today's conversation? And I'm going to go ahead and put a little link down in the comments as well.
Whose conversation? Did you say Beyonce? I'm sorry.
No, beyond today's conversation. No, but if Beyonce wants to come on too, that'd be great.
She can sing. She can sing.
Lots of people can sing. It's so fun when we do that here on the show.
Right. Yeah, they can follow us on Instagram at Rekeki.productions. Also on Facebook, Rekeki.productions or WtFun podcast.
Okay.
So either one of those two, they can definitely reach us there and send any comments and start following us and listening to the podcast. It's a really good podcast. It talks about the entertainment industry, but it talks about the people that make it all happen and different aspects, things that you wouldn't think are necessarily entertainment, but they are, like we've had fashion producers, we've had, we've had musicians, we've had DJs. It's an eclectic bunch, and it's a lot of fun, and they have words of wisdom, and it's become those like Oprah soul moments.
I believe it. I do.
On the show. I mean, come on, look who's one of the hosts. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, it's great, and I hope you guys enjoy it and take a listen to it.
Absolutely. And Renee, for our very final question of our conversation today, would you be open to making up a random song with the word emotions in it for us? What?
The thing is that I usually come up with songs, random songs. But I don't know. I think we'll have to sing this together. I don't know. You'll have to pick some song or something about emotions, huh? Just the word emotions?
Emotions, there's some leeway. If you want to do vision or mindset or action instead, that's fine too, however you want to do it.
Whatever comes to mind, right?
Yeah.
This is so, I can't believe I'm doing this. Okay. Emotions. Don't worry. They're not a notion. Emotions. Go through them like commotion.
Emotions. They flow like the ocean. Emotions like lotion for your soul.
I think we found our next career.
There we go. Okay, thank you for playing with me.
Sorry,
I appreciate it.
Hope you enjoyed that.
I appreciate you being here and being open to that.
I think someone earlier asked if I could sing. I think I just answered that question.
Helene was asking because she knew what was coming. Yeah. So Helene was getting the oil, loosened up there. The wheel loosened up with some oil there. Awesome. Well, Renee, thank you so much for being here today. It was fun having you on and getting to hear your wisdom and expertise. This was a fantastic conversation. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Kim. I really enjoyed this. I really did. I mean, but I enjoy all of our conversations. So thank you.
Likewise, you're welcome. And thank you to today's audience, whether you're live or on the replay. Let us know what you're taking away down in the comments. What came up for you in this conversation? How are you allowing yourself to consciously allow your emotions to flow and then let them fuel your next action, the direction that you're moving towards? And let's bring it back to Renee. The biggest thing that just shows up for me as you shared so many awesome nuggets, but really is that presence piece that is so key. And I know can be so challenging for a lot of people. And I think you really explained how it works for a person. So absolutely. So keep remembering, who am I being right now in this moment without worrying about the future, and just allowing and being and taking action from that place. Beautiful. Well, that is our show for today. Have an amazing day, everyone. Continue to be in that flow yourself. We'll be back again on Thursday for another episode of Rise and Shine, Creating 2020 Vision. Have an amazing week. Stay right there, Renee.